Hi, it's Sunday morning, and I left a little note with, I believe it was Linda. Yeah, it was Linda Joyce last night, that I would tell her that I would take care of this bit of missing information that she was asking about from Saturday night about a post from Megan Renee. Oops, whoa. All right, it's Sunday morning, and I've only had one cup of coffee so far. From Megan Renee, well, okay, look, tell you what, it doesn't really matter. The point is that Megan Renee, I was going to show you the original post, was asking about how you would take attendance in Zoom. And a lot of people are saying, do screenshots and do all of that, and hey, whatever works for you. But I came up with an alternative, which was this over here. Okay, so this is my post, and it said, you can get Zoom to do this for you. Now, a little bit of a caveat, even though I know that Zoom can do this, I'm talking about something that's theoretical to me, okay? That if I was forced to use Zoom to do attendance and I didn't have an LMS like Moodle, this is what I would do. And you can read it there in the original post. Now, what Linda was asking me was that, hey, I tried to do that, but I couldn't quite get it right. So I wanted to make this video to show you how to get it completely right. But back to my point about this all being theoretical. I don't do this because I don't need to. I have an LMS, I have Moodle, and I have a relatively relaxed attitude towards attendance. I don't try to make it so strict, and I know exactly you're there, and you have to come in by a certain point, and you mustn't leave until I do. And I understand that these kids, sometimes they have really bad Wi-Fi, or I don't know, they're getting ragged out by their dad and they don't want to even show that on camera, so they just take the risk and just close the camera because they're getting ragged out by their dad. And yes, I know, on the other hand, that there are some kids that are trying to game the system. I know. That's not really how most of them are going to fail my class. If you're stupid enough to actually try to game my system, you're probably going to fail my class because you're just not really good at your assignments. Oh, and by the way, sorry about the bedhead. I still haven't really gotten my crap together, but I wanted to answer this. In any case, if you want to do it, okay, I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, so first, let's go over here to your Zoom account. So you go to your Zoom account, and this only works if you have an institutional account. This is why I was asking help, and Todd Bukins very generously gave me a little bit of his time to figure out that even if you have a professional account, you don't get these reports. Okay, so this only works if you've gotten an account from the university and they have a proper IT department that set this up so that you're part of their administration group and the reports are working. If they are not working, but you did get your Zoom account from your institution, try to contact the IT department and ask them, what can I do about getting these reports? Because I need them for my attendance. Now, if you do have the reports and you click this, I'm going to go to another tab here. It'll look like this. Now, don't mind mine because I actually have, believe it or not, I have webinar capability on my account once they turn it on. What you're probably going to find in yours is just these two, usage and meeting. Okay, now for your purposes, if you want to actually take attendance, you want to go to the usage tab. Okay, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go over here to this tab. And if you click that button, that tab, you're going to get something that looks like this, where the most recent set of meetings you did on the most recent day that you did them will appear. But if you want them for a specific day, like you're trying to catch up through the work that you did through the week, you have to indicate a specific day on these date markers. So for example, I did one class on a Monday, on the 12th, okay? And I just want that one class, so I'll just limit it entirely from the 12th to the 12th, so the 24-hour period, and I would click search. Now I don't want to end up with any kind of a problem with giving away any other information besides stuff that applies to me, so I'm going to click a tab over here. If you click search, okay, you're going to end up with, oh no, wait, that's right, I can't show you this part. You're going to click the search and then you'll get the listings. Now this is important. You'll get the listing of the class that you want by the class name, and I made my class name very, very easy to find. You have to schedule these classes. And the scheduling of classes, actually, I realized I forgot something. What Linda was worried about was, what's this about authentication? Okay, so let's step back where I was talking about my profile, okay? You have to schedule your classes, or in this case, meetings, Okay, so when you schedule a meeting, this is my default, and this is again set into the accounts. I have all of these security points actually fairly strongly put in. Okay, so oh, there they are. Okay, sorry, you can't talk and scroll at the same time looking into a bright light. All right, your security should be on for a passcode, for a waiting room, but most importantly for this, you require authentication to join. And that's what I was talking about before, Linda, about the word authentication. What this means is, in plain English, is that if a kid is not logged into their Zoom account, if they didn't actually put in their login name and their password that they registered with Zoom, they cannot come into the room. They simply will be refused entry. They won't even come to the waiting room. They will be told, okay, that you have to put in your password and your login. So probably somewhere on your LMS, you should tell them, I have a new security policy. You have to be logged in. Some of these kids are really lazy. They just click on the link that you sent them in email or in the LMS, and they don't bother logging in because up to now they've been able to enter. Okay, but then you get, that chaos that ensues when some kid comes in and their username says iPhone 6S or something like that, and then you have to wait 5 minutes for them to actually change their name. This requires that, number one, they actually have a Zoom account. The two, they log into that Zoom account. And that's important because that email will stay with them and identify them, and that will be part of the identity that you can use to see who was actually in your class. So you check all of these, and when I made my recurring meetings, these recurring meetings had all three of these here. There is a passcode, there is a waiting room, there's a requirement to authorize before you join the room. This creates a very secure Zoom environment for you so that only your students can come in. You won't even be bothered in the waiting room by somebody who didn't bother to authorize. Okay, so that's what I meant by authorization. So just to recap, okay, so you go to this page, the reports page, you go to usage, okay, and then you go to usage, and there's the name of the class that I wanted to get. You also get, this is important, or it might be important, if there's a big university and there's a lot of groups to the administrator, it would help if you told them, if you wanted to make a request, that my group name is this. Now, keep scrolling to the right, and you're going to see the population number. Right there, 28. There were 28 unique users that came into the room, and that is a clickable button, so you click that, and you're going to get something like this. Now, I did this so that then, I'm not revealing any email addresses the universe would have, the universe will eventually have my head, but the university would have my head in the short term. The universe getting my head is a long-term proposition. And there's a whole list, a whole heap of email addresses that will now appear underneath. When you first click this, okay, it's right here where it says the total duration period, that will be 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 48 minutes for each person, because maybe for the first couple of minutes they were having trouble coming in, or I don't know, breakout rooms. So they went into breakout rooms, they came out of breakout rooms and stuff like that. This will be all broken up. So you want to make sure that you show unique users, that you click that button. And eventually, if you want to export this too, you may as well export with the meeting data, so just easier for you to remember on the CSV file, and then export. Show unique users, or you're going to have a hell of a time trying to figure out, like, where's that last occurrence of this unique email. So both of those. And when you export to CSV and you bring it into your not your word processor, into your spreadsheet program, I use Numbers on my Mac, you're going to get something that looks like this. And I have just completely ruined this video because now I'm showing the email address. So I'm going to have to edit this video later. Okay, so here are all the addresses. And, oh God, that's so stupid of me. I was planning to not do this. Here are all the addresses, and you can see that their total duration is right here, okay? And you will also see that, or you can't see, but you're going to have to take my word for it, that you'll see something that identifies them both for the name that they originally came in with and the name that they eventually left with. So you can actually read it, especially if you tell them you have to change your name in Zoom to something I can read in Roman letters, put your student number at the end if you want them to put their student number, and you can see that they did that. But they also it has in brackets, I believe in brackets, okay? That is the name they originally came in with. The name that they left with is the name that's outside of brackets, all right? So you take this, you put this into a CSV file, and maybe you can re-import that into another CSV file by column, but you identify them only by those email addresses. You've got your attendance over 16 weeks. Okay. Now, like I said, I don't really do this because I'm not a real strict hard ass about attendance, and I use my LMS for doing something like that. And what I do is I set up a reflection practice assignment in Moodle, and I tell them, okay, now you have to answer the question that I give to you at the end of the class. And you have, I don't know, like 30 minutes. I give them 30 minutes to answer it, and they have to answer within 30 minutes. Okay, so that gives them plenty if they can't push a button or something, just that. But they have to hear the question from me in the class, and I say, okay, well, tell me about your family pet. If you don't have a family pet, tell me what kind of family pet you would like and what name you would give it. And so, okay, bye everybody, see you next week. Then they have to answer that, and they have to show what was their answer, and to prove that it wasn't just that they didn't understand what I was saying. They have to actually write the question at the top of the answer. And that pretty much tells me that they were there at least at the end of the class. Now, if you want to make it really hard, you tell them, okay, I'm going to say something at the start of class, and I'm going to say something at the end of class, and you have to write them both down. But then again, if you're worried about your students gaming you, then they just come at the start and come at the end. But that kind of effort to game my class, you want to make that kind of effort so then you don't have to attend the rest of the class? That's up to you. Most of my stuff is pretty asynchronous actually anyway when it comes to grading. Listen, I'm babbling, and I think I need another cup of coffee, so I'm going to leave this right here. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye-bye.